For Christ's sake, Dad, she's laughing her bloody head off here. Now look,
I'm very
I
confident.
want you to tell me, I want you first of all to tell me, what was your mother and father's name?
Father was Joe, and you know that, and mother was Elsie.
Right, and where were they born?
Well, now you've stumped me.
Where were they born?
I don't know. My dad in Nuneaton. I
Were they?
don't know. Mother was in Nuneaton.
You're born in Nuneaton. What did your dad do for a living?
Minor.
Dad was a miner, was he?
Mhm.
What about your mum? Did she work?
No,
Brought up the children.
She wouldn't go to work. She done one day at work and come home, wouldn't go again.
And your dad had a week off with a broken flask. What? Where were you born? Where were you brought
Where
up?
was I born?
Yeah,
Binley,
you were born in Binley.
Coventry.
What was your address in Binley? Do you remember?
30, well, I think, I don't know. Binley Avenue.
Binley Avenue. You were brought up most of your younger years in Binley Avenue.
I was in Binley Avenue till um, it's not very old. And then we went to Brandon.
Right.
How I was born. How I was 5, I think, when we left Brandon. I think.
Took up a bit.
I was probably about 9 if I remember left Brandon. Not far from Pat. In a bungalow. And
Speak up a bit.
then went to Clifford Road,
Uh-huh.
and that's where I remained.
That's where you remain. Do you remember anything about your grandparents?
Yeah.
Do you remember
Old bugger.
what did?
My gran lived in Nuneaton.
Yeah.
My granddad, I can just remember.
Do you remember his name?
I was probably it's Harry.
Harry. It was Harry, was it?
Harry Orton. And then my gran left Nuneaton and went to live at Belgreen with my mum's sister and her old bloke.
Right.
And she died at 80 odd.
Right.
And then my aunt died when she was 50 odd.
Did she?
So that was the end of them.
And what?
My mum died in 64, didn't she? When she was 68.
I'd have been 4.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, you're right there.
He says, I don't recall. I don't recall your mum. I recall your dad just chasing me around the caravan park, but I don't recall your mum at all.
And then she died in the June on her birthday, and then our died in the February.
Right.
64.
Right.
So she died 63, didn't she?
Yeah.
I think it was. And then my dad died in. Sid died in the August, and my dad died. About the August, I think.
Was your dad's dad, your granddad, was he a miner?
I wouldn't know. Never knew any of my dad's people.
You don't?
No.
You don't know where they were born?
No, I don't know whether he was one of a family. He was the only one.
He was an only child, was he?
Big-headed, obviously, lovely stuff.
But you remembered him, yeah?
No, I don't. No, nothing about that.
Do you remember anything? How many brothers and sisters your dad or your mother
My dad
had?
had none.
Your mother?
My mum just had brother in Binley and my Aunt Grace's husband.
Right.
Who just died, she hasn't she?
Right.
And the one that died when she was 50, sister. So she.
Right.
So,
and before you met Dad, how many boyfriends did you have?
I probably had 104 or something like that.
Do you remember any of their names?
No. I don't know, the war was on camera because she used to go dancing and meet them.
You just meet them at the dance. You didn't have any serious boyfriends before you met Dad?
Really.
Where did you meet me Dad?
When I was helping my old man in the Coombe Club when he was steward there.
When you were steward in the Coombe Club and you met me Dad there? Was Dad in the army at the time?
No.
He wasn't?
He didn't go in the army till after the money, till after I got... No. 43 or something like that. I got Ellen.
And what year did you get married?
42. When the war was in full swing, Bobby.
Where did you get married?
Registry office.
It was a registry office. You didn't have a full-blown wedding or anything? No?
Not such.
No?
Had a drink.
Registry office.
He didn't have a friend.
Do you remember any of your friends that came to the wedding? Do you remember any of your friends?
No.
Mostly family, was it?
Yeah, that's all they do. There weren't weddings like them today.
Weren't they?
Just got married in red shop. I run round the Swanswell in somebody's car, and that was nearly me.
Was it? Really? Well, did you go on holiday for your honeymoon? Did you go anywhere for a break?
No, I was working then.
You were working. You didn't have a break away for your honeymoon?
No, you couldn't in the war, Ken.
Oh, because it was during the war, yeah. Right.
It was all work. I worked at Whitley from going out at 6 till coming home at 7 at night. And I was 16. And I was nearly blind and all.
Yeah.
For that time.
Where were you working?
Whitley.
Whitley what?
Bombers.
The Bombers?
Yeah, Whitley. We used to call it Whitley Aerodrome.
Whitley Aerodrome. And you were, what did you do? What was your job there?
Me. Details, electrical cables and
all sorts of things like that for the aerospace industry, yeah.
Like men's work.
Yeah.
Men's work, really.
Yeah.
All things like that. All men's work.
And when what was Dad doing? What was he doing for a living at the time?
Where was he then at the Jag probably?
Dad was at the Jag, was he?
He was at the Jag at that time.
Really?
I think so.
And so when you had, before you had our Helen, who was the first one?
DHSS then.
The DHSS? Department of Health Social Security?
Something to that.
What were you doing there?
Sending out the call-up cards.
And all the call-up cards?
For the men.
Really?
Sent your dad out.
Did you? You even sent Dad's out?
I knew it was on the way. Yeah.
Did you?
I should have looked up as well.
Did you? Were you concerned about him going into the army?
Yeah, well,
being called up.
I was only 21.
You were 21.
I'd got nothing. I'd got a manage on my own, hadn't I?
Who did you have at that stage when you were 21?
Helen.
Anybody else? Derek?
Derek, I suppose.
You had Helen and Derek?
Minute, Derek was born 45. No, Helen.
Right. I forgot to ask you which school you went to. Which school?
No, you know I went to Binley.
You went to Binley Park?
Oh, no.
I know, Binley Park's gone now, isn't it? But you went to Binley School for infant school, junior school and senior?
I went to Binley all my life.
All your life? It was right the way through infants, right the way through, was it?
14.
Was it? Yeah?
And I worked at Whitley.
You went straight to Whitley from there? And then you had to, I mean, when you had Helen and Derek, you weren't working then, you having to look after the children?
No, I was living on £2 a week while his dad was in the army. I couldn't work. I did try and get a job for him in the nursery, but they only had to have a cold and they couldn't go. They couldn't get the nursery. So they used to give me about £1 extra at the War Office, so I'd lose that £1. I went to work and then I'd stop off, so I'd have lose that £1.
So there was no point in
No.
trying to work and look after the children?
No.
Were you living in Torcas Avenue then? You were living in Torcas Avenue then? 33 Torcas Avenue?
So you know the remains from that. So you don't need to watch it me any longer. Because you know from then on.
Well, not really. Not really. Not from that. I only know from 1960 onwards, and really I didn't know probably the first 10 years.
Life just went on till 60 up to lad too, didn't it?
Yeah. But tell me more about the war years. Tell me more about what the things you remember.
Bombing.
Just the bombing. The bombing was the thing. Was the most traumatic part of the war years.
Well, I went with another chap before I met your dad and went and nearly bombed.
Now you said you didn't have any other boyfriends.
Well, I did him because he danced nice.
And who was that?
Jack, his name was, I don't know, Jack.
Jack what?
He danced nice. So.
Yeah.
But I didn't really like him.
You didn't?
Yeah, well, I liked him because he danced nice.
And did my dad ask you out?
Oh, he kept asking me out.
Did he? And did you keep turning him down, or did you go out?
It was love at first sight with God.
Was it?
I wouldn't say it wasn't with me, love, but it was with me.
Was it? It was.
Yeah. Well, of course.
Yeah.
So I had to give him up. I had to give
Jack up.
Stan £0.5 to go and tell him I didn't want to meet him.
You give Stan £0.5 to go and tell Jack you didn't want to meet him, and that's when you went out with Dad.
Yeah.
How long had you known Dad before you got married?
No. How the hell do I know, Ken?
Well, think.
12 months or more.
12 months. You were about 12 months before you actually got married. So that's quite short, really.
Well, it was in them days. You didn't know whether you were going to live today and die tomorrow. Could have been mum tomorrow.
Yeah.
There was a lot died in Coventry, especially Coventry. No, you didn't know you were going to go. Anyway, I'd had enough of work. I'd had enough of going out of the house at 6 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes your dad would come off nights and take me to the bus stop.
What did you used to do for recreation? Was it just dancing, or did you ever go to the cinema or anything like that?
Walks.
Walks? Do you never go dance? Did you ever go to the cinema?
And we were working till 7 at night.
Oh yeah,
I didn't leave the aerodrome, and then I had to buy time unless I come home on the bus.
Yeah.
You didn't get home, then dinner and that. And then my eyes were bad. Through the work, too much work, tired.
Yeah.
And I'd want to go to sleep.
Right.
Then your dad would come out, we'd go walk, and then it'd be time for him to work.
And then when the children came along, you were then looking after Helen and then relatively quickly Derek. Right. So then your whole life was still during the war with them. Where would you go and shelter when the raids were coming?
In shelters.
Do you remember where it was in? Where was it
Bingley
from?
Road.
Used to go.
Where I run to from the game on.
What about when you were living at Torcross Avenue? Did you
no, no, we weren't having any bombing them, and the war was still on when Helen was born in 42, but we didn't seem to get a lot of bombing after that.
You didn't?
I think there was a shelter in the road somewhere then.
What's that?
But they'd had a lot of bombing around there before I went to live there.
What?
I didn't go straight away to live there.
Do you remember the Blitz over Coventry? Do you remember that particularly?
Only 42.
Where were you that night? Do you remember?
I was a single then.
You were single then, before you met Dad?
Well
before?
1941.
Was it?
Yeah.
Where were you living then? You were still living at Clifford Bridge Road. So you remember that night in particular?
That was the Blitz when I was 14 times.
Right.
Yeah.
And what about the end of the war? What about the celebrations at the end of the war? Were you with Dad then at the end of the war?
Yeah, I was married then.
You were married with Dad?
In 1945, I was having Derek.
Yeah, having Derek.
And there was all celebrations in the street. It was great. Lovely, all tables set out in all the streets. No traffic. All diverted around, and all the streets had big tables and chairs, and everybody clubbed together and had parties.
Did you have lots of friends? Or did the war tend to isolate you from people? Or?
No. I hadn't got to. No.
Didn't have lots of friends really. Mostly around family, was it?
Oh, well, he went out the army then, was he? No, it was the family, the boy's family.
Who are you closest to in your own family? Who are you closest to?
Alan and Stan.
Alan and Stan. Yeah. You were closest to those.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. And then with you? More than your sister? Or sisters? Yeah? Didn't get on with them really?
No.
No? Even in your younger years?
I suppose not. They told me they used to make me go while they played together.
Did they?
No.
They were older than you, were they?
Yeah.
Mill and the other one?
Yeah.
They were?
Yeah, like poor sister and brother don't want the young ones with them, did they? I was all on a son.
Really?
We were more of them. Well, I was older.
You're more the same age?
No, I was older than that. I was 10 years older than Stan.
Oh, Christ.
Did
you ever have to were you involved in bringing them up or anything like that?
I always need to take them out.
Really?
Alan and Stan, yeah. Always need to take them out and push chairs and mind them.
And at the end of the war, you moved. When did you move to Torcross Avenue? What year was that?
Well, I was there in 1945.
You were there at Torcross Avenue in 1945, right? You don't. So at the end of the war, you were living in Torcross Avenue. So the celebrations was in Torcross Avenue.
Yeah.
Down by the Devon.
All up the street.
All the way up the street.
All up that hill. Yeah. All big nights. Yeah, dancing in the street. Everything. Music. You'd run around the queue. All tables, chairs, everything laid out for kids.
So there was a lot of the family lived around that area, didn't they?
It was Arlene and while we all her kids, weren't they?
Right. That's Dad's brother, and so they all lived around there too, didn't they? I remember Torcross Avenue. I remember vaguely bits. I remember that lad across the road I used to play with. I mean, I remember roughly. I remember Wall and I remember his wife, but I don't remember. I remember Dad's mum and Dad living across the road. I think they lived across the road, but your mum and Dad didn't, did they?
No, they lived in Clifford Road, and then they went to live in Willenhorse and New Flat.
Did they?
And what else went there? After living in Clifford Road all in there.
Did you see them regular? Well, you know, when you were married and they were obviously still alive at that stage. Did you ever see them regularly? Did they ever come and visit? Did they ever help you with the children or anything like that?
Yeah, my mum did.
Your mum come and help you with the children?
Yeah, she'd come across when she could. But she was an old one for her age.
Was she?
She was my age when she died.
Right.
And my mother, I don't know, she used to come up when she could. She hadn't got a lot of time.
Right.
She used to come up and help me. Kate, not help me, perhaps just come up and have a cup of tea and go.
Do you remember the first years, the first time you sort of had your first washing machine?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? It was a one of those, a hand job, was it?
Do you remember it?
I think I do actually, just
Yeah,
roughly.
you would.
So that would have been
And
early
you had to put hot
60s.
water in it though, it didn't need salt.
No.
Just hand things.
And then you had a Flatley before, you know,
The flat, they
which was,
they were good.
yeah,
Thought they were wonderful. They were timed, didn't they?
yeah.
Used to warm everywhere.
Do you remember the year Dad had his first car? You don't remember the year Dad had his first car?
Not the year. He had one too, didn't he?
Do you remember the first car he had? Take you about.
Oh, old bangers, but they were good. We went to Ridlingham before you were born.
You went on all the holidays, didn't you?
Yeah.
Then we started on holidays.
So we managed that.
Yeah. You went on holiday most years. I mean, in the cars, didn't you?
Oh, I just camped out. Just shallows, yeah. Oh,
Do you remember any holidays in particular that were fun times?
yeah, I do. When the car lost its handbrake, hadn't got handbrake, and going up that steep hill to Snowdon, the bypass.
Yeah.
And he, like that, and he hadn't got handbrake.
And it wouldn't, and you were
Car
stuck in
full of
traffic,
kids.
was it?
Oh, nearly died.
Did you? Do you remember what car that was?
Oh, your dad will tell you it was the posh car, I think.
Wolsey 444.
Yeah.
Was it?
I think it was that. He hadn't got
I remember
handbrake.
that. I remember that.
Traffic behind on our alley.
I remember that. He held it with his brakes.
You ain't kidding. I told it was someone I was ready to jump out.
Really? Silly
got
old
a car full of kids. Died.
Was I there?
No,
Oh yes.
you weren't born.
No, but I remember the Wolsey 444, so I don't think it could have been that car then.
No, square one, I think.
Square one. Dad'll remember that, will he? He'll remember that, won't he? You remember how much that cost?
Yeah.
No? Do you remember the year you had your first television?
Yeah, rental one, I think.
It was a rental one. Derek the rental man. Was it Derek? Did he come and got emptied the coin box out the back of the telly? No, it wasn't Derek, was it? I think it was. He looked like he had...
Oh, Derek the insurance man?
No, he's Derek the
No,
insurance man,
no,
I was
no,
thinking.
no.
No.
No,
But-
I used to have one off a bloke up Sewell Highway.
Up Sewell Highway. Right.
I remember Arlene and Well had one first.
Did they?
Like that.
Did you all used to go around and try and watch it?
For the coronation of the Queen. And we all went over to have a look at little things.
Little black and white one.
9 inch.
Do you remember how much that cost?
No.
Do you remember what year that was? Coronation year?
Yeah?
I don't even know. 50, we'll go there. 53, was it?
53.
So that's the first recollection you have of really watching television seriously.
Just, I remember that for the coronation.
Do you remember
Or
the
was
first?
it the Queen's marriage? No,
Might
it would
be.
be the coronation, wouldn't it? Coronation. That was the first. The Arlene and Well having it. Little tiny thing.
Right. What about? You don't remember the first television you had?
Yeah, yeah, I don't know what it was.
Do
We
you remember?
rented one off that the road. We used to come round them and do
You don't remember what year that was?
14
No?
inch.
Yeah.
No.
And then,
Be after 50 odd, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Later on.
so we lived there. You lived there, and I lived there up until we moved to Doncaster Close. And so, what year was that? That was about 65, wasn't it?
You were 5.
65. 65 then. So we moved to Doncaster Close in 65. Selected tenants.
Yeah.
Selected tenants in '65. Put your hands down.
It was wonderful.
I know, because you had central heating.
Hot water.
What was the major benefits of the house? Was
Hot
it the central
water.
heating and hot water?
Yeah, bathroom with hot water.
So how did you have hot water in Torcross Avenue? How did you manage
With
it?
the old geezer.
An old geyser.
Oh,
Right.
I thought it was wonderful. And it was like being on holiday, wasn't it?
And we never have a fridge, of course, in Torcross Avenue. It was a larder, wasn't it? I remember that. And then when we went to so at Doncaster Close, then it was like really moving into the new age, wasn't it? Because we had central, we had hot air heating, which was always one. It was a big house.
That's all right.
And then we moved from Doncaster. Yeah, but '65 we lived in Doncaster Close. Until what year? Do you recall what year that was?
10 years or so.
10 years until '75.
Yeah.
Then we moved to Axholme Road.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
Nice flat. That was nice.
Right.
Well, nice, yeah. Nice little quiet flat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Until your dad wanted a garden. Never come here, Mr. Latham.
But what about the weddings? Tell us about the weddings, of the family's weddings. Tell us something about those.
Well, Ellen had a great wedding, I got
You want to go
I'm missing
bingo?
home in a wait time.
I know, but you bingo, you can wait. We can
Oh,
do-
well, that'll have to wait for another time. The
You want-
weddings, you all had good weddings.
Did you?
Lovely, and I don't know how I did them.
No.
Had 4 get married in 5 years, now to them 3.
I remember the church Helen and Mick got married in. They got church down that, just down near Ball Hill, just down the road on the right hand side.
Not Paul Hill.
No, it was further
Gosford
down, Paul.
Street.
Gosford Street, Gosford
Well,
Green.
that's gone.
That church went, I know that.
And, yeah, that was, she had a great wedding. But they went away them days after the wedding. Spoilt all the reception. They don't do it today, do they? They stay now with the reception. And it's better.
Put your hand down from your face. Can't hear you.
Bride and groom always used to go away them days. On any move. Today, now, they stop with the reception, which is a lot better. Then Derek got married, and I did his.
No, Derek got married. Derek got married in. I don't recall Derek's wedding at all. I remember Bob's because I remember Bob had some money off me in his pocket,
He'd
and
only been 5 or 6 when Derek got
yeah.
married.
And then Bob got married up towards Ursel Common, didn't he?
Yeah.
The church on the right. He had his reception there, to the area to the right of Ursel Common.
Tarlow Club.
Tarlow Club. I think I remember that because he had some money off me that everybody gave me that day, and he put it in his pocket and he buggered off on his honeymoon with it. I don't know how much it was. It probably just under a
Well,
pound,
we
but
never had it back.
he never ever gave me that
Oh, you
back.
did tell him then, Cam.
I've told him many a time.
And then Pat and Barbara, they had lovely weddings.
Yes, they did. But where did they get married? Oh yeah, Pat, we know up near,
Down at the Wycombe,
and Barbara.
Brian's Church, St Augustine's.
Oh yes, up in Camden. That's
They
right.
had good dues, receptions, and great weddings, all of you came. All of them, all got married well.
Yeah.
Nice. So anyway, I think I'll have to go now because I've got to make up. So I've got to say cheerio to everybody.
It's only 6:20. Your bingo isn't. You're not due your bingo until.
I've missed home in a week.
It doesn't matter. Alison will tell
My
you what.
bingo I've got to go at 7,
Right.
and I haven't had a word with Ali.
Right. You can have a word with her in a minute. You can have a word with her in a minute. So how many
watching
grandchildren
out
have
the
you
way,
got? How many grandchildren have you got now total?
How many is there?
You haven't you
There's
lost count.
about 30.
Do you have any favourites? Do you have any? Did you have when we were all children? Did you have? I know nobody really has favourites as children, not in real terms. But was there any that you preferred their nature or their personalities?
Yeah, Barbara.
You preferred Barbara.
No, Helen was a bee.
Helen was a bee.
Helen was a bee.
Right.
Up till school.
Was she?
Oh,
Was she?
oh, she was hard. Oh, she was hard there.
Was she?
Yeah, she kept running off. She kept jumping out the windows from Major 2 and going.
Okay, so Helen was hard work. What about Derek?
No, very placid.
Very placid.
Very placid. Sit him like your kids. Sit him on the settee and there he'd sit till I was ready to press him. Helen, unbolting the doors, turning the key, chair up, off.
Pat?
Placid.
Bob?
He was hard work because he was always got ear trouble.
Always got ear trouble.
And he always crying.
Was he?
Crying.
Because of
Oh,
his
I knew
ears.
Yeah.
It will come to me in a minute. That's a separate issue.
Pat and Barbara, placid girl.
So, in preference, then, you think Barbara was the easiest child?
Yeah.
Barbara was the
No,
easiest child.
well, no, I think what it was, I had her more on my own. They'd
Oh
all
yeah,
gone to school, and
right.
she was the first one to have on my own. Oh no,
Spend more time with her.
Pat wasn't much trouble. She pinched her tongue once, but she pinched 6 months once.
Yeah.
No, they weren't bad kids anyway. Ellen was a little bit after she went to school.
Right.
And you come, but you kept crying.
Well, I was ill too. Was I breastfed? That's the most important thing.
Yeah?
Was I a
Well, no,
breastfed
for a
child?
while.
For how long? A month? 2 months?
Mum.
About a month.
Mm.
No wonder I can't build up too much muscle.
No, nothing to do with that kind of sort. It's all to do with the mother when getting breastfeed. I'd had a lot of transfusions and all things
sorts.
like that.
I know.
So I don't know whether I could have.
You carried on
I
with
never
that.
had
What about
to.
the other children? What about this? So Barbara, you felt was the easiest child, and that you had more enjoyment with Barbara than perhaps the rest of us. So who did you feel as they were as they were starting to get their own little personalities? Did any one of them feel that was more striking, had more of an amusing personality than any of the
Bob.
others? Bob.
Mm.
Bob was always mischievous.
Oh, no, he was
Played
always
games.
funny.
Always
Funny.
always messing about, was he?
Always
And Pat?
funny.
And
He
Pat?
was our television them days.
Was he?
Mm.
Bob?
Yeah.
Even with all the other brothers and sisters? He used to make you all laugh.
Yeah.
And what about Derek and Bob? How did they get on with it?
Derek was serious.
Derek was serious.
Derek had a lot of mates coming for him
Did he?
and all that. He was
Yeah.
very popular.
Right.
Nobody knew Bob.
No?
Bob was in the house and played with Pat. Pat was his gaffer.
Yeah.
And Pat bought all his butter.
Did she?
He had glasses. So she'd take his glasses off him and if anybody touched him, chase him with sticks. Oh, Tomlin.
Was she?
Oh, that was Tomlin. She looked after Bob.
Did
She
she?
was 12 months younger.
Was she?
But she fought Bob's buttocks. Well, no, nobody touched that. Then they used to dress up, he put her frocks on and she put his. And that's why he was funny.
That was before television, of course, so that's...
They were only little. They were only 12 months apart.
Right.
And she put Ellen Gould, remember she came to the Smart Do.
Mm-hmm.
She would have told you, because they always used to go to Ellen Gould and show her.
Did they?
She'd be in his clothes and his cap and his trousers and everything, and he'd be in her frock.
Really?
I mean,
I knew there was always something strange about our Bob.
Eh?
There was always something a bit strange about Bob. Wearing
No,
women's clothes. No, I'm joking.
He was only little. I'll tell you what, he'd remember it.
Yeah, I bet he
He'd
would.
remember it, you know. He was only little, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, they were only about 6 or something. He used to always be stopping the car.
And I was somewhat an
Only at
afterthought.
night, to make you laugh.
I was somewhat of an afterthought. So what was the family's reaction with me? How were they with me? As brothers and sisters?
Ellen thought it was funny.
Helen was older, she was very impressionable age. She was at school, 16 nearly, wasn't she?
She was a prude, she was 17, she didn't think it was right.
Well, Ellen would do, you know, managing,
Well,
you know,
that's it, isn't it? But,
married to a managing director. I mean, she's
no,
always
all
been
the
a
others
snob,
were all
Ellen.
right. All the others were all right. Derek was wonderful with him.
Derek was my
Derek
father.
thought he was his kid.
Really? And I thought he was dad, didn't I?
Yeah.
Mm,
Come on, son.
really?
Can you yeah? Well, he got married.
Right.
And had his own, and it was different. Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
But he was only 14 too when he was born.
Really?
It's a crazy. Only about 14 when you
Rather than the girls weren't as interested as Derek.
Derek, you was right. He wouldn't have no pick you up. He'd go do it.
Really?
He would feed you, change you. You were his. He'd come in from work, he worked at 14, 15. Left school at 15, so he'd be 15, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
No, he was at school when he was born. What am I on about? Good to us because he had a month off school. Because I was in hospital a month. So
Right.
he had a month off school to help do around the house a bit. For your dad coming in, you know.
Yeah.
And it was, the first thing he used to do was pick you up at the time.
Really?
It was funny, I did. I think everything changed in a way.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't really
Absolutely
changed.
adored you. You were his. till you were 3. Then your dad said, I think it's time I told him I was his dad.
That's flattering.
The Harold.
Keep smiling.
Harold.
Hello.
I had Derek with him when he was born.
What?
Derek.
Oh, what?
Oh. Just,
You could tell him a few tales about that, couldn't you?
yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, I'm going in early now.
There's
So
half
the
you, well, I'll tell you.
final part will come again.
Okay,
one
we'll have
day.
episode 2 another day.
Episode 2.